Ready.
Yeah. Hello, my delicious co-creators. Lilou here. I'm in Thailand at the Tao Garden interviewing all those experts. I think I might stay here 6 months. So many amazing people there are here. This is wild place. Wow.
An amazing place. It's an exceptional place. Tao Garden is unique on the planet.
Yeah. When did you discover it?
In 2005, I came here to do my first instructor certification. And it was a major milestone in my life.
So then 10 years later, only 10 years later, here this book just came out and you wrote this book with Monk Tashia, so that I interviewed and you have to see that interview because of course he's one of those masters. He's probably the expert on Tao in the world. So this is quite huge. You wrote a book with him. I don't know which number. He wrote many books.
Many books. I think this is the 34th book, perhaps, something like that.
There's another 30 to go.
Oh yeah, easily. Yes, because the subject of the Tao is so vast because it's as vast as life in a way, because the Tao is really like a science of life, and which comprises many different disciplines. So you have the martial arts, the internal martial arts. You have the Chinese medicine with the acupuncture, massage, the whole pharmacopy, the plant medicine that goes with that. You have astrology, and you have
the Tai Chi, Qigong.
The Tai Chi, Qigong, the inner alchemy, a whole science of how to the nutrition, for example. So it really, and then the science, of course, of the sexual energy, of course, which goes together with, it's all about how to cultivate your physical health, to put it into service to your emotional health, to your spiritual health. So we really are always working on the 3 planes, the 3 dimensions of who we are as human beings on this planet.
Wow. And this book is on life pulse massage. So it's activating the pulse of life in the body. What is the life pulse? Can you describe it? Can you tell us what it is? Because this is exciting.
It's very exciting. All of life is a pulse. Yeah. Anyway, that's like the fundamental principle of life is that it's always in this alternating pulsation of, gathering and expanding, gathering and expanding, right? So the what we call the original pulse in the Tao is the convergence of you have the pulsation of the sperm, which has a very yang.
Let's go there.
Yeah, let's just go right to the beginning of, who we are. So what we come from is already 2 pulses, the pulse of the yang sperm, of our father pulse, and then the slow, languorous, very sensual pulse of our feminine mother pulse of the ovule, right? So you have the yin and the yang pole, right? And so they're like meeting each other, and so where they actually converge, where the ovule actually decides to say, oh, okay, I'm going to let this guy come in and fertilize me. And at that moment, there is a pulse. That the first moment that the cells are meeting each other and exchanging their information, right? So there's like a fusion.
Beyond the heartbeat.
Oh, it's way beyond the heartbeat. This is like pure energy, right? So this fusioning of the cells and the information that are contained by the original cells then decide to divide, and then refusion, subdivide, refusion. And then, so that is already pulsation. And then this physical, you could say physically energetic pulse of our original cells is also accompanied by the pulse of the North Star. This is according to the Taoist belief. The pulse of the universe, let's say, that's been converged and then is sort of beamed down, downloaded onto this conception that's happening at every moment, but at the beginning of each of our lives, together with the earth pulse. Because the earth also has her own pulse. So we have many pulses actually converging into that moment of conception, that moment of when we become alive, when we become incarnated into something totally unique that doesn't exist anywhere else.
So the incarnation happens here, not later on when the soul...
Right. Well, then there's the soul part, which is later. But the pulse, the energy pulse, is the how would you say? It's the matrix. Okay, is in place at that moment. Yes. The pulse is there. The energy, it's like creating the structure for, so there is the incarnation because the information is all there. And then, okay, we can say that the soul is something that is like a substance that will little by little start to be infused in that pulsing matrix, okay, over time. And that will, because there's many other energies then that are brought into this pulsing matrix.
What kind?
Over the course of the gestation period, over the course of the 9 months. Mm-hmm. So in the Taoist belief, we have the connection with the 5 elements. Mm-hmm. So the beginning would be, in connection with the water element and the wood element, the fire element, the metal element, the earth element. All these different elements symbolically will infuse themselves into the growing embryo with an intelligence, with a way of functioning and development that then becomes a whole person, who we are. So that when we're born, we're ready to go. Right? So, we have everything we could possibly need. We have all the resources we can possibly need for the realization of ourself on this planet. Yeah. It's all in there. We are programmed with that. It's our original program. And then
life happens, and then we're kicked out of our mom's tummies.
Exactly. And then we start the process of conditioning. Right? So as soon as we're born, already just the birthing process. And of course, there is the information that we're receiving through our mothers and through the external world, already during the gestation period, which is part of the conditioned process. So there's really 2 processes going on at the same time. There's our true original program, which is the cosmic program. And then there's our personal path program, which is our mothers, fathers, our physical environment, and then all the things we're going to experience, for very good reasons, which are going to help us to, bounce off and discover, who we really are. So that's the path. That's the Tao. That's the path of discovering who we really are, thanks to all these things that, push us or deflect us, and make us suffer, perhaps, create layers and layers and layers of conditioned, blockages or whatever, so that we can have the pleasure of unwinding all of that. At the moment when we decide that that's what we want to do.
The life pulse is always here, but obviously when we feel stressed, we feel separated, right? Yeah. Because I guess part of that life pulse is being connected to all that is.
Yes, exactly. So it's always that voyage in a way of, being able to stay connected with that original pulse while, we become separated from it because we have to live through our human experience, but we know that we can always come back to it. And it's something that if we can stay in touch with that source as much as possible through the practice is just tools for staying in touch with that source, right? So we can go away from it, experience whatever it is, and then come back and digest and integrate. And then because it's in that integration process where we start to realize who we are and become more conscious and grow as a soul, as a being. And then, so that's where the immortal body is also nourished. And then, our state of consciousness after we leave this body, leave this world, will stay with us, that evolved sense. And so in our next voyages, whatever they happen to bring us, will allow us to stay conscious and keep that consciousness alive and really contained in something concrete.
Yeah. I discover here the Chinate song, and here this is part of the massage, right? These are advanced technique of Chinate song. How are they advanced? Can you just explain again what it is and how?
That's a good question. Yes. Okay, well, just to get back to what is Qi Nei Tsang, first of all. Okay, so the Qi is energy, vital energy. Nei is internal. And Tsang Fu are the organs and the viscera. So it's the internal energy of our organs, of our vital organs that we're working with, right? So it's a massage technique in the sense that we're using the Qi, the energy of our hands, which is connected directly to our heart. So it's the benevolent, compassionate energy of our hands that we're bringing in contact with our own vital organs to allow them to feel touched, to feel oh, okay, I'm being paid attention to. So combining with the breathing, a lot of deep breathing exercises are also very beneficial to combine with the touching. And then using also the healing sounds, which are connected with each of the organs. For example, if I'm going to breathe into like the solar plexus area, so the stomach, pancreas, the the adrenal glands, and I'll use the stomach sound, for example, to really connect with my mental brain, and then my abdominal brain will connect with each other. Okay. And then I'll start feeling something, like maybe a knot or a stress or something, some kind of emotion that needs to be digested. So I'll take that time to just take it into consideration and then feel the chi, feel the energy that is combining with that emotion, and then allowing that emotion to transform into more chi. Right? Because I'm going to open up the blockage, whatever it is, and then it's like water. You lift up the dam, and then the energy can flow. And so lifting up the dam is just bringing the consciousness to that place, right? So Qi Nei Tsang can be very simple. It's just anyone can do it on themselves or on somebody that they feel close to. You just have your hand and you connect with a space that is, blocked up or feeling in suffering in some way, and then and it lets go, and then the energy circulates, and the person reconnects to themselves. And so you can do that in many different places in your body. So there's
lots of books that explain this.
The fundamental book is the Qi Nei Tsang 1. So there's a new edition that's actually being written right now, a revised edition that will be coming out shortly. And then there's the Qi Nei Tsang 2, which is all about how to chase the winds, which is the negative energies that are sort of clamped inside of our body, kind of like you can imagine a house, where, okay, all the windows have been closed in the attic, the basement has been, flooded, and then nobody's ever taken the time to open the doors and, air it out. So that's kind of like our body, right? Because our torso is really like a house in a way, or like a bottle, and so everything by default kind of settles down at the bottom. So especially the whole pelvic zone will be an area where there's a lot of congestion, kind of like all the sediments of everything that we eat, everything, that we think just kind of settles down there and stagnates. And then so creates like a compost pile that generates a lot of heat and inflammation and congestion and, parasites and tumors and, you name it. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can go on there. Yeah. And it's just very simply because the qi is not circulating the way it should be. So how we can just bring that qi back into circulation is, namely, by activating the pumps, the inner pumps that are normally supposed to take care of all of that, right? A pump, the function of a pump is to take something from the bottom and bring it to the top so that it can flow. And so these pumps, these internal pumps, often get completely like petrified inside of our body just from the stress that we live in our daily lives, accumulation, So learning to access those internal pumps and to really get them flowing again is a whole process of self-healing, taking yourself into your own hands and getting back to those resources that we are born with, that we're conceived with, that we have. They're there. We just have to know how to access them. So by using the self-massage to really get those pumps flowing again, that's the fundamental Qi Nei Tsang.
And then this is advanced.
Right. So then there's
a lot of graphs. I love it.
Yeah. So there's lots of images because the life pulse method is about how to get the blood flowing freely in the entire body, because where there's blood, there's qi. There's nourishment, there's protection, because our whole immune system, the lymphatic system is closely related to what is in our blood and where it's flowing. We're bringing all the nutrition, everything that we eat, that if we eat something and the blood is not flowing where it should be, there's parts of our body that will never receive that nutrition. It just goes in and out and gets wasted, right? So we have to get the blood flowing everywhere. That is the key to our health. so the whole science now of like finding the blockages, where's the blood not flowing, where are the arteries, for whatever reason they're either constricted because we're tense, we've got muscle tension, our nerves are, getting messages that, okay, you've got to stay really tight, and because we're on the computer and we're in these strange positions now. This is like we're
holding the microphone.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. You have to. Yeah, exactly. So learning how to connect, the hand that's holding the microphone to the pelvis that's sitting in the chair, to the ground that's supporting your whole body, right? So learning how just structurally to let the blood flow freely so that you don't have places where you're starting to, like where it's falling.
Get a course just on that.
Yeah. Well, that's the iron shirt.
This is like, woohoo!
Yeah. So that's the basic Qigong. That's the iron shirt Qigong, actually, the structural Qigong that is part of the basic training. So that's what we learn, how to connect our whole structure into the earth so that we can feel really supported by the earth, and then the body can stay light even if it holds, like imagine you have to hold like this position for an hour, right? But you can do it with no stress, no effort. It just becomes something, so that would be good for you, yeah, to learn how to do that. Yeah. Holding a microphone, holding the tree. It's like the same thing.
Wow, a whole new world just opened to me here.
Yes. So, that's what's so nice about the Tao, because we're always doing it through the body, So all of it is happening through. So how you can free up, and become conscious. Okay, where are there blockages happening? And how can I? So using the massage technique is using the pressure points. Like for example, like you have a blockage in your arm or in your shoulder, right? So if here you're feeling tense, right? So then.
You can go.
Yeah. Okay. So, then you would work on where the nerves and the arteries are actually bringing the energy to this place, so that, because if you're using a lot of, muscle power, then the muscles are going to sort of, get, kind of, how would you say, spasmed, right? After a while. So for the first thing, okay, you got to relax the muscles. So then, you would use, just regular massage. So basic Qin Song 1 techniques, right? To just get it kind of loose. And then you would start going in and using like a real pressure point. So like one pressure point that would be really useful for the shoulder, for example, would be like this area, what we call the brachial plexus, for example, the brachial artery, right? So if you work on that part, and then you work as well on the back around the shoulder blade, so you will polarize two pulses. And so by pressing on the pulse, like you can feel it easily, like on the carotid, that's easy for everybody to try it, right? That if you press on one side, it's like you're pressing on a hose, and you're stopping the flow momentarily, so that behind where you're pressing, the blood will actually accumulate. And so when it accumulates, it will actually be forced to go into places that are kind of blocked, right? It will push just by hydraulic force. It will press out any blockages that are around that area. And then when you release, it will be like it will have built up so much pressure that it will flush through and literally flush out any of the accumulation of plaque, cholesterol, any kind of toxins, things that have been lining the inside of the arteries and keeping them from flowing freely. Yeah. So
it's amazing when having I had the Qin Zong done on me, I could feel it on the other side. Like I could feel something right at the back, like it was going through.
Exactly. Yes.
It's really interesting.
Most of our back pain is coming from the small intestine, notably the mesentery, which is because all the deep arteries in the whole lower body are all lining the spine on the front side. So when we're accessing them from the belly, you can really alleviate just about any pain that you have in your back, and you will feel it in your back, in your legs. You can feel it in your arms, even if you're just working. So we're getting back now to the original pulse, which is located at the navel. So when we're working with the navel pulse, we're working with the original pulse, and from there it actually branches out to the whole rest of the body. Okay, so that's why you can feel it, like obviously in the back, which is right across from it, and then everywhere else in your body. There are specific pressure points and places where the arteries will converge, and with the energy meridians and the nerves and the lymph. So there's a lot of...
And the fascia.
And the fascia, of course, yeah. The fascia is like the web that's enclosing all of this and that's connecting all of the flow of the entire body together. It's by the fascia that the qi actually circulates. It's through that web. which is like
Amazing bodies we have.
yeah, it's incredible. It's really the matrix. It's the original matrix that we're made with, and that's made to conduct the chi everywhere. So it's about releasing that fascia and allowing the blood to flow freely, to irrigate, nourish, protect, heal.
Anything else to say about the life pulse? I know that this is a huge book, so there's a lot to mention, but anything else you're thinking of right now that would be good to add to this conversation?
Wow, there's a lot, but no, mainly I think we can conclude here. But just to say that for me, I mean, the most important thing is that we do have our health in our own hands, and that it's really in all of our possibilities to heal just about anything that we need to heal.
Beautiful. It's in our hands. Let's learn.
It's right here in our hands, in our heart, and in our bodies. Yeah. So connect to your chi, stay in touch with your source, and follow your path.
And chi on.
Chi on. Yes, may the chi be with you.
Big kisses from the Tao Garden. Life Pulse massage. If you want to learn more, big kisses. Love you.